Something big is happening, something that could redefine the very core of American military power. Deep inside the United States military, a wave of uncertainty is spreading among the ranks. This time, it's not a conflict on foreign soil, but a high-stakes battle for control and direction within the Pentagon itself. On October 3, 2025, Navy Chief of Staff Jon Harrison was suddenly fired, a move that stunned both military insiders and outside observers. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, serving under President Trump, is spearheading a sweeping and controversial overhaul of the military's leadership structure. The abrupt firing of a top official like Harrison is extremely rare, and it's sending shockwaves through every level of command. But this isn't an isolated event. It's part of a larger pattern that's been unfolding for months. The Trump administration, with Hegseth at the helm, has been making dramatic, sometimes controversial changes to the military all year long. They're not just shuffling people, they're reshaping the very priorities and culture of military leadership, demanding unwavering loyalty to the administration's agenda, and expecting senior officers to fall in line. Harrison's removal is more than just one man losing his job. It's a sign of a fundamental shift in the delicate balance between civilian government and military leadership, a relationship that has defined American democracy for generations. The administration wants the military more tightly aligned with its political goals, pushing for a force that reflects its vision and priorities. But this approach is creating real tension with military leaders who are used to a degree of independence and professional autonomy. The story of Harrison's firing is a clear example of this tension boiling over, as the old guard clashes with new demands. The decisions being made in these halls right now will shape the U.S. military's future for years, maybe even decades to come. Understanding this power struggle isn't just important for those in uniform, it's crucial for every American citizen who cares about the future of the country. The Pentagon is changing, and the consequences of this shakeup will be felt far beyond its walls, touching every corner of American society and the world. To truly grasp the magnitude of this shakeup, you need to get familiar with the main players at the heart of the Navy drama. Each brings a unique background, set of loyalties, and ambitions that have shaped the unfolding crisis. First, there's Pete Hegseth, the newly appointed Secretary of Defense. Hegseth is a Trump loyalist, known more for his media presence and political connections than for any Pentagon experience. He's determined to bring the military firmly under civilian and specifically presidential control. His appointment sent shockwaves through the defense establishment, signaling a new era of top-down management and political oversight. Next is Jon Harrison, the Navy's Chief of Staff. Appointed in January 2025, Harrison was initially seen as a steady hand and even an ally to the new administration. But as tensions rose, he found himself at odds with Hegseth's aggressive approach, leading to a deepening rift within Navy leadership. Then there's John Phelan, the Secretary of the Navy. Phelan is a wealthy businessman and major Trump donor, with no military background but a clear mission: to centralize power and align the Navy's priorities with the administration's agenda. He worked closely with Harrison, but their alliance was uneasy and fraught with political maneuvering. Finally, Hung Cao, a retired Navy officer and recent Senate candidate. Cao was confirmed as Navy Undersecretary just days before Harrison's firing. His military credentials and political loyalty made him a trusted Trump ally, and his arrival marked a turning point in the power struggle. The appointment of Hung Cao, with his deep ties to both the military and the Trump movement, triggered the final showdown. His presence was seen as a direct challenge to the existing leadership's authority. Sensing a threat to their influence, Harrison and Phelan moved quickly to limit Cao's power, setting off a direct and public conflict with Hegseth and the White House. But this battle isn't just about clashing personalities or rival ambitions. It's a fight over who will control the Navy's future, its mission, and its resources in a rapidly changing world. The struggle between these four powerful men set the stage for a dramatic and unprecedented power shift at the very top of the Navy. In this new Pentagon, loyalty to the administration isn't just expected, it's demanded. Every decision, every appointment, is scrutinized for political alignment. Even the most seasoned insiders know that no one is safe if they challenge the prevailing agenda. The atmosphere is tense, and uncertainty hangs over every meeting. The stakes couldn't be higher. Control over the Navy's leadership, its multi-billion-dollar budget, and the very direction of America's sea power for years to come. On October 3, 2025, the Pentagon announced Jon Harrison's firing, abrupt, shocking, and a clear message. The real reason, a power struggle over the Navy's budget and authority. Harrison and Navy Secretary Phelan tried to block Hung Cao, the new undersecretary, from having real power. They reassigned key aides meant to support Cao, weakening his office before he even started. This was seen as open defiance of Hegseth's plan to install loyalists. Hegseth responded immediately, firing Harrison to reassert control. The message, "Follow orders or be removed." Harrison's firing was a warning to all Pentagon leaders: resist and you're out. The administration is determined to crush any internal resistance. The Pentagon's new reality: loyalty over independence. Harrison's firing ended a fierce internal battle over who controls the Navy. Traditionally, the Navy Undersecretary manages the budget and operations. Phelan and Harrison tried to centralize power in the Secretary's office, sidelining the Undersecretary. When Hung Cao was appointed, they moved to weaken his authority by reassigning his support staff. This was a direct challenge to Hegseth and the White House. Hegseth saw it as insubordination and acted swiftly. The fight revealed deep divisions, some leaders building their own power bases, others enforcing the administration's will. In today's Pentagon, there's no room for dissent. The administration's agenda comes first, no exceptions. Hung Cao's arrival as Navy Undersecretary was the catalyst for the crisis. A retired Navy captain and Trump loyalist, Cao was chosen to push the administration's agenda. The Undersecretary's role is powerful, managing budgets, acquisitions, and the Navy's civilian workforce. Harrison and Phelan tried to strip Cao of real authority by removing his expert staff. Their gamble: keep control of the Navy's resources and block the administration's changes. But they underestimated Hegseth's resolve. Hegseth fired Harrison to protect his chosen appointee and send a message. The administration wants loyalists in key positions, not independent power centers. The Navy's leadership is being remade from the top down. Resistance is met with swift consequences. Harrison's firing is just one part of Hegseth's campaign to reshape the military. This move is part of a broader strategy that has been unfolding since the beginning of the year. Since January 2025, Hegseth has removed top generals and civilian aides not seen as loyal to the America First agenda. This has led to a significant shift in the military's leadership structure. The process has been called a purge, swift, sweeping, and targeting even the most respected leaders. The speed and scale of these changes have left many in shock. In February, Hegseth fired General C.Q. Brown Jr., chairman of the Joint Chiefs, sending shockwaves through the Pentagon. This decision was particularly controversial given Brown's respected status. More than half a dozen senior leaders have been dismissed this year. The rapid turnover has created a sense of instability within the ranks. Experienced leaders are being replaced with political loyalists. This shift is seen as a move to ensure that the military aligns more closely with the current administration's policies. Critics warn this undermines independent advice at the highest levels. They argue that the military's ability to provide unbiased counsel is being compromised. Hegseth's goal: reassert civilian, political control over the military. This is seen as an effort to bring the military under tighter political oversight. The culture of the Pentagon is changing. Loyalty is now the top qualification. This new emphasis on loyalty over experience is reshaping the institution. The firing of Harrison is just the latest chapter in this transformation. Each dismissal marks a step further in Hegseth's plan. The military's future is being rewritten in real time. The full impact of these changes remains to be seen, but the direction is clear. Hegseth isn't just firing individuals, he's restructuring the military's leadership. In May 2025, he ordered a 20% cut in 4-star generals and admirals across all branches. These are the top commanders, and cutting their numbers is a major shift. The administration claims it's about efficiency, but critics see it as consolidating power and silencing dissent. The cuts have removed some of the most experienced and diverse leaders, including the only 2 women 4-stars. This sends a message: political loyalty now outweighs experience or diversity. Officers at all levels are more cautious, less willing to speak out. The result: a growing experience gap at the top. National security experts warn this could leave the military less prepared for crisis. The Pentagon's leadership is being remade, and not everyone is convinced it's for the better. Hegseth's changes aren't just about power, they're about culture. In a recent speech, he attacked diversity and inclusion policies, calling them distractions from warfighting. He promised to roll back woke policies and refocus on lethality and traditional values. This message energizes his political base, but angers many veterans and military families. Critics argue diversity is a strength, not a weakness, and helps recruit the best talent. Hegseth's stance has sparked a fierce debate about the military's identity. The fight is now over the soul of the armed forces, tradition versus inclusion. Deep divisions are emerging within the military community. For some, Hegseth's vision means a tougher, more focused force. For others, it risks alienating talent and undermining morale. The Pentagon shakeup isn't just inside baseball, it affects every American. The U.S. military's tradition of independent professional leadership is under threat. Political loyalty is now the top priority, making leaders less likely to offer dissenting advice. This could lead to riskier decisions in a crisis. The culture war over diversity is dividing the ranks and could hurt recruitment and morale. A military that isn't seen as fair and inclusive loses its connection to society. Civilian control is essential, but so is honest, independent military advice. The events of 2025 show this balance is being upset. Understanding these changes is vital for anyone who cares about national security and democracy. The future of the armed forces and the country hangs in the balance.